Let's get on to some serious matters now. We've got a question from Faye Muirheadeen.
Julia Gillard's old law firm, Slater & Gordon, has declared that a secret internal 1995 probe into work the Prime Minister did for her then-boyfriend found nothing which contradicted information provided by Miss Gillard. Tony Abbott has been demanding that the Prime Minister make a full explanation to Parliament about the incident, and the Liberal Party seems adamant in pursuing personal attacks against the Prime Minister. Doesn't the party have more pertinent issues to be dealing with?
Graham Richardson.
Well, I don't think I'll speak for the Liberal Party. I might leave that to Simon. But as far as I'm concerned, there are questions to answer over this for her. I accept, I think, that she's done nothing illegal. I don't believe that, for instance, if she said to them in this inquiry, as we're told on Saturday, that she may have benefited from this slush fund, I don't worry about that too much, because then she produces receipts. She goes back home, finds the receipts, is able to satisfy Slater and Gordon that all is okay, that she can show that she spent all the money that needed to be spent. So as far as I'm concerned, she's covered on that. The big question remains, though, why wouldn't she answer the question as to whether or not there was a file created? It seems to me if you're in a law firm and you do work for a client, any client, you create a file. If it's indeed true, as was suggested on the weekend by another lawyer who used to be at the firm, Nick Stryan-Brown, whom I'll come to in a second, that she didn't create a file, that's a serious matter. And you've got to say why, because it's pretty ordinary, isn't it? I mean, it's the first thing you do as a lawyer. So I think she's got to answer that question. And if the answer is I did create a file, it's all over. If the answer is she didn't, then she's just got to say why. And Nick Stryan-Brown, by the way, there are those at Slater and Gordon who say that he's a disgruntled ex who got asked to leave as well. So there's a few in that category. You have to be careful about what you accept, and you have to try and make sure that you're sure of the information. The difficulty is, it's a long time ago. Some of the people involved are dead, and some of them are going to be soon. So as far as I'm concerned, what I'd be doing if I were her is just answering that last question. If she gets over that, this will go away. I don't understand why she won't.
Graham Richardson, the Paul Kelly confrontation on television yesterday. Just give us your political take on that.
Oh, well, I've been bagging Julia Gillard for some time. I think she's got appalling judgment, and that was a classic example of bad judgment. If there is a senior journalist, apart from Laurie Oakes in this country, who's recognised it'd be Paul Kelly. He is one of the most senior journalists in the country. To even suggest that he'd be getting told what to ask was absurd. It was just dumb, and she shouldn't have done it.
She may have been told that by someone else, according to
this. Apparently, though, it's exactly what, if you're in positions like her, or if I'm interviewing someone, I'll often say, well, listen, I have to ask a question about this. It doesn't mean someone told me to. I mean, I said to Joe Hockey the other day as we were chatting just before he came on my show, Joe, I've got to ask you about boats. I know it's not your portfolio, but I have to. But no one instructed me to. It was just the way that it was put. And some of her junior staff, and how many times have I talked about her staff now, stuffed it up. It's pretty common. But in the end, just to finish it, Tony, you can't just blame the staff, because you have to accept it. You make the judgment at the end. If she's dumb enough to accept that bad advice, it's her problem.
Simon Birmingham, I could argue that Graham Richardson's doing your job for you, but interestingly, this issue was not raised in the question time today. Is the opposition backing away from it because of all the shady and interesting characters who are involved in the story?
The opposition has not really pursued this issue, Tony. It's been pursued...
Well, except for Tony Abbott, as the questioner said.
Tony Abbott's words on the weekend were that we would facilitate the Prime Minister making a statement to the Parliament. That's all he had to say on the matter.
So and she should make a statement
Tony
to the
Abbott
Parliament,
has
I think he
not
said.
Prosecuted this case. It has been prosecuted well and truly, I suspect, far more so in the trade union movement than it has by the Liberal Party, by Julia Gillard's enemies in the Labor Party far more so than it has by the Liberal Party. And there are, as Graham says, some questions that she should answer. Where she chooses to answer them is her choice. But if she addresses those simple issues, which have been around for a long, long, long time, and the Prime Minister is stuck with the same words, the same formula for an equally long, long, long time, if she just answered a couple of simple questions, she may well be able to make the whole thing go away.
OK, so just so that I'm clear on this, the opposition tends to stay above the fray on this issue, do they, and let all the work be done by journalists and so on?
I think the issue was first raised this year in the Parliament by Robert McClelland, a Labor MP. We will leave it to the Labor Party, their factions, the unions, the journalists and others.
All right, we've got a question from the floor there, or comment.
Surely, as we see in America, the media and both the Democratic Party have been calling Mitt Romney to submit his tax returns and his receipts. Surely, if Miss Gillard really does give in to the beck and call of the media and everyone that calls her to divulge every single thing she does in her life, wouldn't that just open the door for everything, for her to bite every single thing the media says?
Okay, let's go to Janet Albrechtsen. And actually, bear in mind that I think Tony Abbott did say there are real issues that she has to answer here.
Well, there are questions that she has to answer, and let's. One of the problems with Julia Gillard's performance yesterday, quite apart from her treatment of Paul Kelly, was to say that there was no relevance of this issue to her credibility as a Prime Minister today. I think that's quite wrong. I think anything that raises questions about your professional integrity, it very much goes to your integrity as a Prime Minister right now. This is not about her personal life. Let's put to one side the fact that she was in a relationship with someone. That's somewhat messy. This is about, as Graham said, not opening a file. As a former solicitor, I can't imagine not doing that. She was a partner. To not open a file as a partner is inconceivable, really. So let's answer that question. There are many other questions she has to answer. And for her, again on Sunday, the other mistake she made was to simply say that she's answered these questions previously. She thinks that, if she keeps saying that we're dumb enough to believe it. No, she has never answered these newest issues ever. So we need to hear from her, I think, about that.
What do you say to the questioner's point that everything could be open slather to media inquiries, everything in your past?
Tony, aren't we smart enough to draw the line somewhere? Do we not think that this is an issue that Julia Gillard ought to ask questions on? I mean, what I'm flabbergasted by is some sections of the media who have already decided that there is nothing for Ms Gillard to answer. How can they come to that judgment? Where's the intellectual curiosity? This is a question that goes to the professional integrity of the Prime Minister. By the way, if something like this had arisen in relation to, Mr Howard, every section of the media in the country would be going feral.
Well, something did arise in relation to Kevin Rudd. It was called Utegate, and it turned out to be a complete furphy. So I suppose the opposition is being a bit cautious because of the cast of characters involved in this. I mean, you've got at least one gentleman, for example, who says he won't tell the truth about this unless he gets immunity from prosecution.
Yeah, and we've had the former national head of the AWU call for a royal commission into this in 1996. Now, there are many people, apart from people within the Liberal Party, apart from some scurrilous online campaign, and I don't deny that there's some scurrilous online campaign going on, by the way. That's the sort of double-edged sword of social media. There's a good side to it and there's a bad side to it. But there are many senior, serious people who have raised questions about Ms Gillard's performance.
Doug Cameron.
Well, look, I know Paul Kelly's held up as this great icon, but he can be a bit of a pompous prat at times. I don't want it to be about Paul Kelly.
In this case, is it pompous to ask questions?
Look, well, I thought he was supposed to be a really intelligent, articulate questioner on the big issues, and I'm not sure that this is the biggest issue. The Prime Minister has said that she has done nothing illegal. The law firm has said that they were satisfied with the issues that they raised with her. I don't think it was a secret investigation. I think it was a normal investigation.
Well, let's have the transcript, by the way. Let's have the transcript up. That's the other curious thing, to record a conversation.
When you're finished.
Someone was very worried
When
here.
you're finished. So I think the Prime Minister has said that she has had done nothing wrong. If anyone's got any charges they want to bring, put them out in the public, and she says she'll deal with them.
Mandy Nolan.
Do you know what? As someone, I couldn't care less. It's so boring. At the time when there's humanitarian issues of the process, what's happening, I hate using the word processing with humans, by the way, with refugees. We start digging something up to show files from 17 years ago, make the whole conversation. I mean, who is it benefiting? It feels like the Liberal Party and the Labor Party are somehow both benefiting from suddenly being sideswiped onto this ridiculous issue. And honestly, I prefer my politicians a little bit dirty. I'm so tired of this constant accountability and what did you have for lunch? Do your job well, be passionate, have a bit of a dirty secret or a past. I don't care. Just be good.
Yeah. Can I just make the point that didn't work so well in Italy?
No, but
Let's hear from Simon quickly. We've got another question from the floor. Actually, just hear from this young woman from the floor here. You go ahead.
I just have a question. Do you think that the timing of this scandal coming out just after Julia Gillard's had to change her policy with regards to the refugee situation is odd? Do you think the knives are out for Julia Gillard?
Graham Richardson.
Well, knives The knives have been out for a long, long time and being sharpened, although...
What's that in your hand, Graham?
You've got to say, I always came from the front. I think what you've got to realise here is that there's no coincidence in timing. People have been raising issues about this now for the last couple of years. Honestly, they have. Now, whether they're right or they're wrong, they've been doing so for a long time. So, no, I don't read anything into that at all. And I just think, I just wanted to answer one question. It's because I want it to go away. I mean, I want to see the Labor Party recover. Whatever I say as a commentator, when it's different to what you feel inside and the way you're going to vote. I'll always want to see Labor do well. It can't do well while she allows this to hang around. It's all right for Manny to say she's bored by it. She may be. Too many journalists aren't. It'll go on unless she answers it. I just wanted to clear it up and we'll all move on. Very happy to do so.
A final quick comment from Simon.
And Tony, just to the original questioner, people of high public profile, people in public office, our leaders are rightly subjected to higher standards of scrutiny. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it will always be. Doesn't matter whether you're Julian Assange or whether you're Julia Gillard, or whether you're Doug Cameron or Simon Birmingham, you'll be subjected to graduating higher levels of scrutiny and accountability, and that will just keep being applied, and you've just got to deal with those issues to allow you to get on with the job at hand.
That's stupid, because it just means you can't be in any position, just that, unless you're a saint. Like, it takes away the fact
Mary
that...
McKillop's going to be the only candidate from here on out.
Okay, let's move on to another subject, because you were saying we don't get on to serious issues. This is one.